How to practice English at home. There was a young woman named Sarah who lived in a small, quiet town. Sarah always dreamed of speaking English fluently, but she didn't have the chance to attend language classes. Her town had no English schools, and she couldn't afford to move to a big city. Sarah felt disappointed, but she did not want to give up. She loved learning English and believed that she could still find a way to improve her skills. So she started thinking about how she could practice English at home. One day, Sarah sat down at her kitchen table with a notebook and a pencil. "I have to make a plan," she said to herself. "If I can't go to school, I'll make my home a school." She decided to start with small steps and gradually make them bigger. First, Sarah thought about speaking. She knew that speaking was one of the hardest skills to improve when you are alone, but Sarah had an idea. Every morning, she would stand in front of her mirror and talk to herself in English. She pretended to have conversations with imaginary friends. "Good morning, Sarah." She would say to her reflection, "How are you today?" Then she would answer, "I'm fine, thank you. How about you?" It felt strange at first, but soon Sarah got used to it. She started enjoying these little chats, and her speaking became more natural. After practicing in front of the mirror for a few weeks, Sarah decided to challenge herself even more. She began recording her voice on her phone while speaking English. Every night, she would listen to the recordings and check if her pronunciation was correct. Sometimes she made mistakes, but instead of feeling bad, she felt proud. Every mistake is a step forward, Sarah told herself. She was learning, and that was the most important thing. Next, Sarah focused on listening. She knew that listening to English was just as important as speaking it. But where could she find people speaking English? Then she remembered something: YouTube. There were many videos in English, and she could watch them for free. Sarah picked videos about cooking, travel, and even funny cat videos, things that she enjoyed. At first, it was difficult to understand everything, but Sarah didn't worry. She listened carefully and tried to catch new words. Slowly, her listening skills improved. Sarah also found English podcasts and started listening to them while cleaning the house or going for walks. It became part of her daily routine. With time, Sarah noticed she could understand more and more without needing subtitles. She even started repeating sentences out loud to practice her pronunciation. But Sarah knew that learning English wasn't just about speaking and listening. She also needed to improve her reading and writing. So she came up with another idea. She had a few English books in her home. Some of them were too difficult, but Sarah chose one with simple stories. Every night before bed, she read a few pages. If she didn't understand a word, she wrote it down in her notebook and looked it up later. She felt proud every time she finished a chapter, no matter how long it took her. After a few weeks of reading, Sarah decided to start writing too. She began with a simple task: keeping a diary in English. Every evening, she would write about her day. "Today, I went to the store and bought some apples," she would write. "The weather was sunny, and I felt happy." At first, her sentences were short and simple, but as she practiced, her writing became better. She added more details and new words she had learned. Sarah's journey to practicing English at home was not always easy. Sometimes she felt lonely, and sometimes she made mistakes, but she never stopped. She believed that practicing every day, even in small ways, would help her reach her goal. As the months passed, Sarah's confidence grew. She could feel her English improving, but she still wanted to challenge herself more. What else can I do at home? She wondered. She sat down one evening with her notebook, ready to plan the next steps. One idea came to her mind. What if I tried to think in English? She thought. Sarah had always thought in her own language and then translated her thoughts into English. But now she decided to stop doing that. From the moment she woke up, Sarah tried to think in English. When she brushed her teeth, she thought, I am brushing my teeth now. When she made breakfast, she thought, I'm making eggs for breakfast. It was difficult at first, and she made many mistakes in her mind. But with practice, thinking in English became easier and faster. Another day, Sarah thought, I need to find real people to talk to. Talking to herself in the mirror was helpful, but she wanted to speak with others. Sarah had no friends who spoke English in her town, so she turned to the internet. She joined several English learning groups online where people from all over the world were practicing together. Every week, Sarah joined video calls with other learners. They talked about simple things like their hobbies, favorite foods, and daily activities. Sarah felt nervous at first, but soon she started enjoying these conversations. One evening, during one of these calls, Sarah met a woman named Anna from Brazil. Anna was also learning English, and she had the same problem no English speakers around her. The two became good friends and decided to practice together. They started speaking to each other every week, sometimes even sending voice messages throughout the day. This is so much fun. Sarah thought it didn't feel like studying anymore. It felt like she was having real conversations. To make her practice even more enjoyable, Sarah decided to bring English into her hobbies. She loved cooking, so she found English recipes online and followed them. She learned new words like whisk, bake, and simmer. Cooking became an exciting way to practice English while doing something she loved. Sarah also loved music, so she began listening to English songs. She would print out the lyrics and sing along. At first, she didn't understand everything, but slowly, she caught on to the meaning of the songs. Singing in English helped her improve her pronunciation and made her feel more connected to the language. But Sarah didn't stop there. She wanted to challenge herself with something new movies. She had always loved watching films, but she used to watch them with subtitles in her own language. Now, she decided to try watching English movies with English subtitles. This way, she could listen and read at the same time. At first, it was hard to keep up, but Sarah didn't give up. Slowly, she started understanding more. She even picked up common phrases and expressions used in everyday conversations. Sarah's learning journey wasn't only about practicing alone. She decided to teach others what she knew. She started helping her younger cousin, who was also trying to learn English. Every weekend, they would sit together, and Sarah would teach him simple words and sentences. Teaching someone else made Sarah realize how much she had learned, and it gave her even more motivation to keep going. After many months of practicing at home, Sarah noticed a big change. She could now understand English podcasts without getting lost. She could have full conversations with Anna and other friends online. She could write longer diary entries without stopping to think about every word. And most of all, she no longer felt scared to speak English. One day, Sarah looked at herself in the mirror, remembering how she started her journey by talking to her reflection. She smiled and said, I can do this. I am learning English, and I'm getting better every day. She felt proud of all the hard work she had put in. Sarah's story shows that you don't need to travel far or attend expensive classes to practice English. With creativity, determination, and a little patience, anyone can improve their English from the comfort of their own home. Sarah's journey wasn't over. There was always more to learn, but she knew that with the habits she had built, she would keep getting better.